So this whole evening we find Nehemiah we find it hinted at in the Shulchan Aruch, at the end of the Shulchan Aruch, where the Chaim, the very last chapter, we got the last Perek in Shulchan Aruch, where the Chaim, the Sof Hilchos Megillah, he brings the halacha from Purim Katan.
Thank you.
And the Mechaber brings that even though you're not mechuyev in the Yesem Mitzvahs and Kriyas HaMegillah, the Katan, I'm sorry, for Purim Katan.
A little birthday.
Goldberg, sit down. The wine is not running away. The people are
Okay,
running away.
don't worry. It's good. After what I said about
one much beer here, not two.
yeah, he's right.
Even though you're not mechuyev, when the Yesem Mitzvahs, they schreibt the Mechaber, however he says that you should be marbe besuda, or marbe besimcha, or Purim Katan, or the Rishon, על ידי סודס רעיים ולהרביס ואכילה ושתייה וכו', זה steht in the Mechaber. Bringt the Ramah that Mikol Mokim Meina Minak Kach, that is right the Ramah. Then he writes, however, Toiv lahachmir kedas hamachmirim. As he states the Ramah. The Ramah says you go according to the strict people. So the commentators of the strict people are the ones who, like he was now, they're the ones that you have to make a lot of. As is after Ramah, yesh lahachmir kedas hamachmirim.
the Hers was this. The Hers was more. אתה שומע מה הוא אומר? אבל שומע.
יש בכל אופן, יש להרביס קצת בשמחת מראים ושמחת זה ולהרביס, and then he finishes off with the pasuk, "V'tuv leiv mishte tomid." That's how the Ramah finishes his whole pirush on Oyer Chaim, the whole Oyer Chaim. He finishes off with them lashon, "V'tuv leiv mishte tomid." Now what does that mean? Somebody's got a good heart, somebody's full of a tuv leiv, he will always be for bringing. That means if a mishte means a suda, he have a drink. A mishte means a suda davki with drink. A tuv leiv, mishte tomid. As they described the Ramah, and the world says that the Ramah finishes off with two, he begins with a tomid, and he finishes with a tomid. The first Ramah at the beginning, so the whole Shulchan Aruch is that the Beis Yosef says you have to get up like a lion. Yokim Kari, la Vedas Abrera, is for it. Schreibt the Ramah to Be'ede al Mishkove. The Ramah says even before you get up, you've got to be Mekayim, Yekayim, Mashenema, Shivisi Hashem, Lenegdi Somi. I have to hold the Avish in front of my eyes the whole time. But Ali Deizeh, he brings a quote from the Moyer Navukim, from the Rambam, the Ramah. I bring up the Moyer Navukim from the Rambam that Mishi is Boinam Bezeh, Miyad Yagia Elov Hayira, as they state, the Ramah brings Tamid, he brings Shivisi Hashem, Lanegdi Somi. That's how he begins. And how does he finish? Tuv Leiv Mishte Tomid. And that's, so as you do it, that's the Shnei Tamidim, the two Tamidim of the Ramah. Over the is the finish. What's written at the finish? Tuv leiv mishte tomid. In other words, if you've got a good heart and your heart is full of goodness, then you'll always be for bringing. You understand? You'll always be making so there are more hints that the whole message of Purim Katan is that you've got to be in a matzah of tuv leiv. Now, so you do there's a chilik in Chassidus between toiv and tuv. Toiv is the union for a descriptive term of dvarim toiv. Of the word tuv is a etem noun. That is called Hashem ha'etem. Tuv means the essence, essential essence of toiv, not just a dover sheyesh b'zeh toiv, or the very essence and the essential union of tuv. Remember, two flavors. Some of his heart is full of etzem. I tell you, what's going to be with him? Mishter tamid. He's always looking for a farbrengen. You understand? I remember when I first came to Kfar Mamish, when I first arrived in Kfar there was a Yid called Rabbi Edelkop. I don't know if you guys ever heard of him. Rabbi Edelkop. He was an elder Yid, and in his earlier years as a panos, he'd been a malamed, and he wore a long coat. He hung a lange rechel, and in the lange rechel at the bottom, he had like a specially built-in pocket. He had it specially added to the bacon, and inside that pocket stood a small bottle of smell. And he was you do it before some. Wherever he went, he would be quick on the drawer, and he would be mechaved yidden with a little something in the lid or something that they should say l'chaim b'kol massive shiyeh, b'kol even shiyeh. That was his. Das ist die von Tuvlei. If your heart is full of Glückskap, it's a matter. Then you wish to tell me. You always saying l'chaim. So you have to be careful with him. He takes things literally. You don't see me, you have to be careful. I don't see me have an explosion here, who knows what. Anyway, das ist die Inyan. And so what happened was that he was still alive at the time of the 6-Day War, Rabbi Edelkop. And the Rebbe came up with mitzvah tefillin. He was the first person to actually go to Tel Aviv in the, what do you call it, Tachanah Merkoziyat, taught in Tel Aviv. And he was the first person, he was an elder of Siddushiyat with a longer record and whole thing. He was the first one to actually stand in the hoo-ha of the Tachanah Merkoziyat and put tefillin on Yid. So everybody who came past his little stand to put on tefillin, he immediately would he would draw his gun. He would draw from out of his gun.
It's quick on the draw.
Together with the tefillin, there's another in it. You have to say people would say, "No, it's not for me," or something like that. You know, I don't go in and go, "Oh no." And he would maybe stand on. They had to say. That was Rabbi Edelkop. That's a tool of lave, mishte tomid. If you have the emissary is callous of tool, a meat is a toy, halei, then you mishte tomid. You're always looking for a excuse. So you might say, how do I know where all the farbrengens are? So there's an old saying by Chassidic Chabad, there's an old saying that you have to be able to smell a farbrengen. But you can smell a farbrengen from a mile away. That's what's good to the smell. This is the smelling of farbrengen. That's one on the Reyach is the Inyan for Ketores. And why is Ketores held to be the highest of all the Vedas in the Etzem Korbanim? It's got a special mizbeach and it's a mizbeach apnimim d'Avinyonim, because Reyach is a very, very high Inyan. Reyach is the Inyan from, what do you call it, Seivim Kolom, in Eretz Maila. And when I get to the Odom, the Inyan from Reyach is Makivim She'Benevi. And therefore the Arizal says, state in Kisvi Arizal, that you should avoid Reich's Raz. If you can, you should avoid bad smell. But it's very damaging to the nefesh because it goes into the Chusha Reach, and the Chusha Reach is a very high, elevated Reach. And therefore the Medrash, Koyach, and therefore the Medrash says that Eizehu Chush Shal Neshama Nen is boy Haviyom Zeh HaReach. That's a Medrash, it's not a Gemara. And the Medrash says that what Chush Gashmi does the Neshama have direct, how do you call it, Hanoah from, is the Chush HaReach. That can smell. Smell goes in. And therefore the Arizal says you should be careful not to smell bad things, because it goes in and it affects the Neshama of L'mayla may HaKoyches HaGilui, from the revealed Koyches. And then there's a Zohar Kodesh in the Yiddur Rabbah status that there's two nostrils to the nose. And it says that the right nostril is Chayin, and the left nostril is Chayin de Chayin. And so the Mephosheh Azor said, what is Chayin? Chayin de Chayin? Chayin is the Madreg of Chayo. What Chay is already the Makiv Shebanefesh, a Shaykh a little bit to Pnim. Over the left nostril, the Kiddush is Davke the left one. Davke the left nostril, das is Chayin de Chayin, and that's Yechide. As they show him the Mephosheh Azoya, that's the Inif in Yechide Shebanefesh. However, we see that the Inif and Reach, the Inif and Neshima and Reach, they reach the Inif and Pnimis Ve'atzmias Hanev. And if a Chassidische Verbringen is Nagir to, no, he's not listening. A Chassidische Verbringen is Nagir to the Etzem Pnimis Hanev, to the Etzem Pnimis Hanashoma Eishul Amailami Koiches HaGelui. First of all, the Chayo, and then eventually to Yechide. What's that got to do, Davke, with the left nostril? As I stated in Sforim, that sometimes you got to be, in order to get really where you want to go, you've got to be a little bit, hard with yourself. You can't always be a goody-goody with yourself. Sometimes you have to be a little bit tough. And the Gemara says in Sekta Eirovin and Omid Kofalev Dot, the Gemara says that sometimes you have to be as cruel as a crow, both to yourself and him. I once was at a Fabringen in Melbourne, Australia. We're talking about Australia. I was once in a Fabringen in Melbourne, Australia, and I told a miser during the Fabringen. You want to hear the miser?
No.
What was the miser? The Alter Rebbe, he had a very famous chassid, and his name was Reb Moshe Yaishes. Was there the guys? Reb Moshe Yaishes. That was his name. And he was a great chassid shehid, and he was a great oiven, a great gorn in learning, and he did a lot of the Alter Rebbe's in Yonim very, very leadingly. He was a great person. So shortly after the Istalvis of the Alter Rebbe, he went out to the Hodit, he went out to the Tzion, and he was Mishtateh al Tzion. Now all of a sudden he decided he wants to write a pidyon. So he takes out a piece of paper and a pen, and he starts writing the pidyon. And all of a sudden he stops and he starts thinking. So the guy that was with him was like his boy, that helped him out with things. Yehuva Naravima, he said, it got a helping boy with him. So he noticed that he's pausing, he's not getting his weiter. So he says, what's the problem with the Rebbe? He said, what's it about? So he says, as Chaim Yankele, he says, maybe you remember my wife's name. He says, Menelam Gibon, wie heißt mein Rebbe? What's her name? So he says, if the Rebbe is nicht, darf ich wissen? He said, the Rebbe doesn't know, am I supposed to know? Then all of a sudden he said, weißt du was? He said, "Duk to me say Esther or something like that." He said, "It appears to me that it's this and that." So I said, "Oh." That's it, Esther, yeah. So then he writes out, Esther. But he said, "Remember the mother's name, okay?" He wrote that down. So later, this boy came back and he told all the others to sit him, that the greatness of Moshe Yaishes, he doesn't even know. So, but to me, and innocently I told that my fabric. The next day I get a telephone. I was staying by certain young man, and there was what was my telephone? So I get a telephone, and one of the wives of the community, she gets on the line. She says, "Listen, it's already easy for you. You come from abroad, you come all the way from out, so you come here, you stay a few days, and the police are back, So whatever happened, you make you a few bucks, and, you leave the country." I said, "Oh, well, we're going to put up with our husbands." I said, "We're left here with our husbands. We have enough problems as it is." He said, "My husband came home and he told me very proudly, this miser that you told about some big chassid that he couldn't remember his wife's name. What do you think you're doing around here?" That's what she said to me.
Don't tell the story.
Holding the phone like that. lady, you happen to be right, you know. Don't take me too literally. I didn't really mean, you know. I sort of backed out very, very dignifiedly, but very put in my place. I don't mean to be too taken literally. The Gemara says, that's the Gemara. The Gemara says that sometimes even like Gabi or B'nai Bayis, you have to be cruel. What's written there? It's written that if you have to go to the base of Medrash to learn, and your wife says to you, but what's going to be with the food? So then you say to her, you go to the lake, and in the lake there's a certain reed that grows, and if you cook that reed, it tastes just like the as he stated in the Gemara, Mania said. I can tell you that sometimes you got to be a little bit, how do you call it, cruel. Now, forget about it. Don't go home and tell any wives that I said that. I didn't mean anything bad. All I meant is to say pshat in the Gemara, in the Zohar HaKodesh, that to get to the Yechida, you got to go down through the left nostril. Because the left nostril is sometimes a bit tough, you know, it's a bit hard going. That's the way. That's the way you get down to Yechida. It's not an easy path. You know the whole Derek Aruba Bekitzore, you know the Gemara.
Huh?
You know the whole Inyan of Aruba Bekitzore.
No.
You know the whole Meiser?
No. You know. What's that say? No.
We'll soon tell the story about Aruba Bekitzore. Anyway, for now it follows that what does it mean to smell a citizenship upbringing? To smell a citizenship upbringing is that your Yechida's got to be tuned in. You understand? That you got the Yechida and Yechaya, they got to sort of, you know, their radiation is going out in the right direction. Boop, you know, they hit the right thing, and they call it citizenship upbringing. See, one time, when he was in the yeshiva, he used to be the Fabringan man. And nowadays he's become very balabatis, you know. But when he was in the yeshiva, all the time he used to come into my office. He used to say, you know, Rav Gavni, there's one problem around here. There's not enough Fabringan. The Bosman were complaining. They want more Fabringan. That's what he used to say. I don't know if he remembers it. He says, yeah, there to be more. I said, we just bring the other night. It was kaf with kak, you know. He said, yeah, but that's got nothing to do. We're going to bring tonight. So das ist die Inje von Tuv Leiv, Mishte Tomid. Where the heart is full of the Inje von goodness, then you're always into verbringen. You don't see one golly with your eyes, then wake up your Yechida, turn on your Yechida, Shemrev and Shmek, you'll be able to as well. And you'll know that, oh, in that place, if I bring it, that's the Ramor, that's how he finishes it, that's his Tomid. That's his Tomid, Shalbena Aboyim, his Tomid Shalbena Aboyim is Tuv Leiv Mishte Tomid. As they come together, the Magen Avruam, and the Magen Avruam says that Alidei Tuv Leiv, that you'll always be in a matzah from a Mishte, he says, Yesoy Rabbanu, Inyan Shal Oz Yumolei Schoik Pino, Bimheira V'Yomeno, B'Binyan Beis Amitis Deli Osi. And that's how he finishes it.
Yeah, what is it?
The Magen Avram. Yeah. That's how he finishes it. And he says that the Tuv Leiv Mishte Tomid will wake up the how do you call it? What did I just say? Anyway, Ozimole Schreipino. Ozimole Schreipino. Bebinyan Beis Amitis Deliosid, Omen Kenirot. So they state in the Magen Avram. There's a simon that where is a citizenship verbringen. And there's Tuv Leiv, and das Poyer Demi von Tomi, Haltman by them is man schön in Beis Amitis Deliosid. And das schreibt der Magen Avram, it's one under the Ish Mekatzev, L'Shene, he only writes what is Mamish Noger L'Poyer. You do it. When the Taz brings over there, that the Rabbeinu Yechiel, that he brings a Tashbat, that the Tashbat writes that the Rabbeinu Yechiel, he was the father of the Rod, that he used to go out into the street looking for people on Purim Katan. And he said, Kanire, daiti kedasa machmirim. Was ich heute, the Taz, the Leiter machmirim, they used to go out in the street on Purim Katan and suchen Menschen, yeah, to bring people in to make a suda, so sein der Mini von Purim Katan, ki hu Katan. As they bring out the Taz. But we have to go looking for people, because we have enough, but we have to be more, the Kusha and we have to schmeck, we're Stutzacharum, and the Ike is, there's Stutzacharum Moshiach, the Stutzacharum, the Gula Shleima, and when somebody says to you, what's Tutzach, then you have to say, Tutzach, Geula, Tutzach Moshiach, Tutzach, Poyo Mami. That's the word of the Rebbe Marash. You should do the Rebbe Marash is Balshemsky. The Rebbe said it, you know, the Rebbe Marash, he's in from Balshemsky on Hogia. Aber der Rebbe Marash said, Tate mit davon Poyo Mamish, das ist the whole. Das ist the summing up of the whole conduct of the Baal Shem Tov is that that's ein Poyo Mamish, the Gula Shleima.
Amen.
You take it prepared and you're preparing, you got all sorts of good things going and everything. But tonight, before you schlaf ein, has to be the Gula Shleima.
Amen.
Kapolles, Kedai Mashiach Tzidkei. That's the whole inyan from Purim Katan. Mishte Tomid, had a looking for the Makivim and the base and the Morgan Avram schreibt, all the Moel Schoi Pino Babinian Beis Amid to Liosit, Omen Kain Hirot. Amen. So sein Bepoyer, Beis Bepoyer Mama.
Amen.
Cairo.
Beis Hashem, here in the Tzedek Shul. So again, Michael of Choyel, and Baruch Hashem, all the Inyanim here are Shara Yesa, Teiva, Yesa Mosek, everything can be better. Teiva, that's the Yesa Teiva. Teiva, Yesa Teiva. As the Friedrich Herbie once said, because it's good now, that doesn't mean that it can't be better. As muss ein besser, I don't know, darf sein besser. It happens to be good now, darf sein besser. That's what we're aiming for. But here in the holy four walls, and I was there to come into here when it was a shtibur, with the old Lubavitch shtibur. I used to come in, and when I showed the rabbi today we met, I showed him a sefer that I have, a very old sefer from the library at the shtibur. In the original shtibur, Hashem should help us that the Achovas Hadas bring to Inyanim Shopoyo, and I was saying Inyanim from Tuv Lei, Mishte Tomid, here in the Tzemel Tzedek, and the Siyata Deshmayev, and all the old Siddim that once upon a time davened here, and all the Rebbe, the Tzemel Tzedek's Hashpoah, and all the Inyanim, they all should get together, and Poyo Mamish, Tate Midaf Hoben, Poyo Mamish, Kabbalah's Panei Mashiach Tzidkei.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Save the day.
Amen.